maybe 5% seed might be infected. Then what happens? If there are 5% seed infected or infested with the pathogen, then we cannot allow the farmers to grow this 5% infected seed. Although this is not a huge amount, but this is the propagating material. So this 5% seed will multiply after cultivation, and this will create tons of seeds, for example. So we cannot sow the infected seed, even it is 1%. What we have to do? We have to treat those 5% infected seed. We cannot separate the 5% infected seed from the seed lot. In order to treat the seed, we have to treat all the seed lot, both the healthy seed and the disease seed, although the amount is very minimum. Then after treating the seed, we can treat the seed by number of ways, especially with the chemical seed treating chemicals. For example, Vitavax, Plantvax, Provax at the rate of 0.3% of seed weight. Then after treating, we expect that the pathogen present in the seed is already inactive or is already killed. Then we'll sow the seed in the field. We call it seed treatment. We can also eradicate insect vector. When we talk about the management of plant disease, also plant disease, we don't think about only a plant pathogen. We also think about the group of insect pests, from the Department of Entomology. We can eradicate the egg mass or other propagating materials of different insect pests by a number of ways, especially by chemicals. Then another methods we call quarantine. I already discussed in the last class. This is the legislative measures. With the help of legal terms, we can restrict the movement of pathogen from the diseased area to the healthy area, from the area where the disease is present to the area where disease is not present. There are a number of quarantine methods, exclusive quarantine, or we call it embargo. This is the total restriction of movement of agricultural commodities, total restriction, we call it embargo. That is, will not allow importing seed or agricultural commodities from the foreign countries. We call it total restriction or embargo or exclusive quarantine. That is the total restriction. Will not allow not a single seed, for example, from the foreign country. Then number 2, regulatory quarantine. That is, will allow import seed, but we have to test the seed, test the health status of the seed, and afterward, we have to issue a certificate. Okay. Then after testing, if we see there are 10% seed infected, then we have to prescribe that. Before going to the farmers, these seeds should be treated with seed treating chemicals. And this is called regulatory quarantine. And there are some other methods, for example, domestic quarantine. That is, for example, blast disease of rice may be seen in Moyinshing region, but may not be seen in Patna or Bogura or Khulna region. So what we have to do, the rice seed of Moyinshing region should not be moved to the other region where the blast disease is not present. We call it domestic quarantine. That is the restriction of movement of agricultural commodities from the diseased area to the healthy areas. So these are the ways by which we can exclude the pathogen in the uninfected areas. And we have to set the standard of certification. We can set standard for all crops in general, and we can set the standard for specific crop or of specific disease we are dealing with. So we call it general seed certification standard, and let us have a look. Certification. For example, in the Indian subcontinent, for rice, for example, is called by this fungus Neoposia horrida, and breeders, you know, the seeds
আসলে আমি শুনতেছি না নাকি সবারই এরকম হচ্ছে?
আরে ওখানে মনে হয় নেটওয়ার্কের সমস্যা।
এরকম হচ্ছে মনে হয় রে।
একটা বাজনা শুনলাম।
গান গাচ্ছিল, আমি তো ভাবলাম আমার।
আসছে স্যার,
বোঝাই যাচ্ছে না কিছু।
এখন তো কিছু শোনা যায় না, আগে তো আটকে আসছিল।
আরে তো নাই।
আর কি আর তো আছে, কি বললো নাই?
গেছিল না আসছে।
হ্যালো
স্যার আপনার কথা কিচ্ছু শোনা যায় না স্যার, একদম নীল। Why is your Tisa?
Any problem with the connection? Hello?
স্যার আপনার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
Okay, then I have to reconnect. Just wait a minute.
I think it's a headphone problem or other issues.
Okay, just try to follow my lecture. You know, we are not living in the era of 5G, so you will have some problems. Uh, okay. So, did you hear until this slide clearly?
স্যার এখন ক্লিয়ারলি শোনা যাচ্ছে মোটামুটি।
So somewhat better than previous.
Okay. So, did you hear until this slide clearly before?
Yes,
So,
sir.
I am continuing
Yes,
with
sir. Yes, sir.
I am continuing with the certification standard. You know, there are 4 types of seat: bidder seat, number 2, foundation seat, number 3, registered seat, number 4, certified seat. So, what is bidder seat? The seats which are produced during the hybridization process by the breeders themselves. We call it breeder seed. And the offspring of breeder seed during multiplication process, foundation seed. And this multiplication continues. So the offspring of foundation seed registerly, the offspring of registered seed during the multiplication process, we call certified seeds. And we have to set standard for different seed, for foundation seed, for breeder seed, for registered seed, for certified seed. So this is the ultimate seed. So you see here for the paddy, that is for the rice, if the disease is burned, for example, its position standard for foundation seed is 0.1%, and the certification standard certified seed for rice, when we're talking about the burn disease, it is 0.5%. You can see here. And this certification standard varies from disease to disease, from crop to crop. You can see here for sorghum, if the diseases are good, the certification standard is 0.02% for foundation seed,
Sir, interruption is
0.04%
আপনার
for
কথা শুনতে যাচ্ছে না একদমই।
so your voice is not clear.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, are you using?
স্যার আপনার কথা কিছুই বোঝা যাচ্ছে না স্যার, কেটে কেটে আসছে।
just try.
Sir, I think there is a problem in your network, sir.
আরে রাউটারটা রিস্টার্ট দিলে কিন্তু হয়।
তুই দিয়ে আয়।
আর কি কথা বলতেছে একটু
স্যার আবার গেছে।
এগ্রিকালচার লেভেল 3 লেফট। স্যারই তো লিভ নিয়ে নিল।
সামিন হোস্ট।
তামিন হোস্ট।
আর মনে হয় আমার
আমি কি
আরে
মিটিং এন্ড করে
আরে
দিব?
ভাই স্যার মনে হয়
স্যার
ওয়াইফাই এর বিল পরিশোধ করে লাইভ টাকা দিয়ে নেওয়া লাগে।
কিপটে স্যার, স্যার প্রচুর কিপটে।
এই সুষময় তুমি এত কথা বলো,
মিটিং এন্ড করিস
চুপ
না।
থাকো।
স্যার যদি আবার জয়েন দেয় তাহলে স্যার হোস্ট হয়ে যাবে।
এত এন্ড করার দরকার নাই, এন্ড করলে
মুগ্ধ
আগে ক্লাস থাক না ভাই,
আমরা একটু আড্ডা দিই।
মুগ্ধ
কতদিন আড্ডা?
ব্রো
হ্যাঁ ব্রো,
প্রথম প্রথম তো শোনা যাচ্ছে, কিছুক্ষণ পর তো স্যার একই অবস্থা হয়ে যাচ্ছে, একটু মুশকিল অবস্থা।
নেটের সমস্যা মনে হয় স্যার।
স্যার আবার শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
আবার শুরু হয়ে গেছে স্যার।
স্যার আবার শোনা যাচ্ছে না স্যার।
বাদ দেন স্যার।
পোর নেটওয়ার্ক।
ওয়াইফাইতে মনে হয় হবে না স্যার, আজকে মোবাইলটা ইউজ করা।
স্যার অনেকটা গানের মতো শোনাচ্ছে স্যার, মানে ভয়েসটা মানে শোনা যাচ্ছে না তো।
কেঁপে কেঁপে আসতেছে, মনে হচ্ছে কেউ ইকো সাউন্ড আসছে।
Can you check the slide?
স্যার স্লাইড দেখা যায় স্যার, কিন্তু স্যার কথা তো বোঝা যায় না।
Hello?
Yes sir.
You are responding to my instruction. It indicates that you can listen to me.
স্যার হ্যালো শোনা যায়, কিন্তু এর পরের কথাগুলো পুরো সেন্টেন্স শোনা যায় না। এক সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে কিছু শোনা যায়, কিছু শোনা যায়
I
না।
don't understand what's problem with it.
শোনা যাচ্ছে না স্যার, মানে কিছুক্ষণ পর আপনার কথাটা আর আসতেছে না। মানে যখন আপনি অনবরত কথা বলা শুরু করতেছেন বা ক্লাস নিয়ে শুরু করতেছেন, তারপরে আর কিছু শোনা যাচ্ছে না, কেটে কেটে আসতেছে আপনার সাউন্ড।
So that's the problem. We have to deal with it. This is not the problem of me also. There might be internet connection with you.
Sir,
internet
we all
connection
have the same problem,
problem,
sir. Sir, we all have the same problem, sir.
Okay.
I think,
Then,
sir.
then we all have to go through. Then we all have to go through this situation. Yeah, you know this. We are not living in the era of 5G.
এখন তো শোনা যায়।
Sir, at least we are living in the era of.
আর লেকচার তো শোনাই যাচ্ছে না স্যার, তাহলে আমরা 300 জন কিভাবে কি বুঝবো আর কিভাবে ক্লাস করব?
Just follow the slide. If you have any problem, then I will record it. Okay. Qualification standard for foundation seed and certified seed.
Sir, we are not hearing you.
I am not talking to you. Then how can you hear me? Okay, I am talking the eradication of plant pathogen and other principles of plant disease management.
স্যার
So
এর আগে যে দুইটা স্লাইড
one of the
পড়িয়েছেন ওই
most-
দুইটা কিছুই বুঝিনি।
what's your name, please?
স্যার শামসুন নাহার।
Samsun Nahar. Follow the slide. Samsun Nahar, can you follow the slide?
Ji sir.
Okay. So what you didn't understand? Can you tell me?
স্যার এর আগের যে স্লাইডটা ছিল ওটা থেকে মানে আপনার কথা কেটে কেটে আসছিল তো এর জন্য মানে বুঝতে পারিনি যে আপনি কি বুঝিয়েছিলেন তখন।
So could you please repeat exclusive and regulatory quarantine?
I am telling you that is we are talking about the exclusion that is the legal restriction of the movement of agricultural commodities, especially the propagating materials, for example, seed. And we are talking about quarantine that is exclusive quarantine or embargo. It means
Hello.
Of the movement of seed from the disease to the
Still your voice is not clear, sir. So his discontinuous voice is coming.
But it seems to me
Hello.
that the connection is okay.
Hello.
Sir, your voice is being interrupted.
Just you don't need to understand all my voice. That is, I am using the slide. Just follow the slide. So I am not telling you to hear me only. I am telling you to follow the slide as well. So exclusive quarantine means total restriction of pathogen. Import of seed from the diseased area to the healthy area. And regulatory quarantine means we'll allow the import, but we will test the health of the seed. We will issue a certificate and we will prescribe that this seed, the disease seed, although the percentage is minimum, maybe 5%, and domestic quarantine means will not allow the movement of disease seed from the diseased area of the country to the healthy area of the same country. For example, maybe rice blast is very severe in Moymenshing district, but maybe there is no rice blast disease in Khulna district or in Chittagong district or in Rajshahi region. So what we have to do? We have to restrict the movement of rice seed from the Moymenshing region to the other regions where the blast disease is not seen. We call it domestic quarantine. And for this, we have to set standard. We have to set standard.
Hello.
1, 2, 3 microphone.
We call general seed certification. And specific seed certification standard. Specific seed certification standard. So specific, that is, it is very specific for a single crop or for a single disease. And general means for a group of crops, for a group of disease. You can check here the seed certification standard, the maximum percentage seed infection standard you can see for different crops. Just look slide.
Setting certification.
And there are 4 types of seed, breeder seed, foundation seed, registered seed, and certified seed. And the certification standard for each seed is different. You see here, for foundation seed is 0.1%, but for certified seed, 0.5%. So these are just some example of seed certification.
So what does it mean, sir? 0.10, 0.5%. What is the expression of this value?
0.1% and 0.5%.
স্যার এটার মানে কি যে ফাউন্ডেশন সিডের ক্ষেত্রে 0.1% যদি ইনফেক্টেড হয় তারপরেও সার্টিফাইড মানে সার্টিফিকেশন দিতে হবে নাকি মানে এরকম কিছু কি স্যার?
Yes, that is, for example, you are testing the health status of foundation seed, okay? And let's say the health status of foundation seed might be 5%. That is 5% seeds are infected. Then what you will do? 5% is now allowed. Only 0.1% infection is allowed. You understand? The seed the farmers dealing with, if the infection rate or the percent disease seed is 10%, for example, then that 10% seed is not allowed for import or is not allowed for cultivation.
জি স্যার বুঝতে পেরেছি।
So if the maximum seed infection is 0.5%, only then we can allow that seed to be imported or to be allowed for sowing in the field. If it is, for example, 0.6%, then we cannot allow the seed to be imported or to be cultivated in the field. Okay, so this is the maximum percent infection for certified seed. Then the third principle we called eradication of the pathogen. Eradication means complete destruction of the pathogen from a particular area we are talking about.
Sir, from the previous slide, I have a question.
And
Sir.
we can eradicate the inoculum or we can eradicate. Yes, tell me. What's your question? Tell me. Please tell me your name.
During import of any seed from other
And
country,
then
what is
ask
standard?
the question.
So what is the maximum value, like certification seed 0.5%, but during import of any seed from other country, what is the maximum value in that case?
Hello? Set standard for all crops, for all disease, especially for the quarantine pathogen. There is set standard in the quarantine station, and the quarantine officer will check that standard, and it varies from crop to crop, it varies from seed to seed, you know, and it varies from disease to disease. Operation standard for each disease of each crop. If the disease quarantine,
I didn't understand
management,
anything, sir.
we
You
call it
said
eradication.
is continuous.
So that's
শোনা যাচ্ছে না কিছু।
So we are not
That's
hearing you
what-
clearly, sir.
Can you follow the slide?
স্যার আমরা কি স্যার ক্লাসটা স্যার পরের দিন কন্টিনিউ করতে পারি স্যার? আজকে স্যার প্রচুর সমস্যা হচ্ছে।
So you better leave us today, sir.
আমরা স্যার পরের দিন কন্টিনিউ করি স্যার, আজকে স্যার আসলে সম্ভব হচ্ছে না স্যার এভাবে।
আজকে থাক স্যার।
স্যার আজকে অফই দেন, আপনার একটা কথাও বুঝলাম না।
অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স শিটটা দিয়েন স্যার।
স্যার আবার নাই।
Follow the slide.
Follow the slide.
আর